I don't think it matters where they came from. But I did want to do some. Okay, so what's the scoop on the reborns? I have done a 2.5 year ongoing investigation on the inside of how China copies your kits and how they get kits and how and what happens. So here's the thing. We don't really know if all kits are false and are not protected, because even an artist who has a protected baby, who has protective papers on their kits, on their sculpts, can lose them like this. China comes in, they see your baby is out, like is no longer producing out here, right? And China comes in and they 3D scan that copy of that baby, and now they have a version of your baby. What also happens is the sculptors get their babies made in China, so therefore, whatever they get made in China, China is not going to follow the rules of the United States. They make as many copies as they please, and then those next door make more copies, and then this one make copies, and before you know it, there's a million brand new sculpts of, let's say, Maven. Maven was recopied by China. Why? Because that's where their vinyls reproduced. And you got to understand, these artists out here, they get mad, but they get mad for what? Because here's the thing. You go get your kits made in China and get your clay reproduced into vinyl. What is going to happen there is anybody with or without protection, they now have a version of your baby. So the next the next facility is going to see that, and they're going to be like, okay, our factory wants this baby too. They scan it, they get a copy of it, and now it belongs to them as well. So that's how and why things are the way they are. So for these shows and doll shows, for everybody and anybody to be like, if you don't have a COA, you don't get in. The thing is, I buy from Dolls by Sandy. I buy from Irresistibles. I buy from trueborns.com. But I also have purchased from AliExpress to test out my kits as an artist, because I'm a brand new artist. And the curiosity always kills the cat. And I have killed the cat because I have solved the case. And the case is now closed. I just want. So anyhow, like I was saying, I have been doing a long ongoing investigation that just hit the 3-year peak mark. So I marked the 3 years, and I just want to say that with all of the people that I spoke to 3 different people. One of them did not really understand English, but the other 2 did. One of them happened to be the NPK owner of the NPK doll owners, and they have their own factory. Now, these factories have been reproducing vinyl for hundreds and hundreds of years. So when people first come out with reborn dolls back in the 80s, they weren't really reborns yet. You see, the first reborns come out in the early 90s. And growing up as a doll lover, playing with dolls all my life, I know a lot of information about dolls. So when I became a doll artist, and it came out of nowhere from an ex-boyfriend of mine who got me into the reborn doll community and wanted me to become an artist because I was already a furniture and a nail tech, he was like, you got it. You got what it takes. Do it. I practiced, put myself through school. I did it like way back, and then I stopped, and then I started again. So here I am finishing this investigation, giving you guys a little background on what happens, what goes on. So here's what happens. My name's Elena. Let's say that I created 20 reborns, and I'm on my 20th sculpt. sculpt, and I take that sculpt and I get it reproduced in China because that's where the vinyl's reproduced. And let's say MPK grabs my sculpt and they copy that sculpt, I could have papers and protection and they can still copy it. It just takes a 3D scanner to scan it. And sometimes their vinyl will come back gray. Sometimes the babies are not completely identical. The sizing can be off. There could be many different defects in that doll, but they get it pretty much 90% to look like, Elena's sculpts. And then what happens is now China owns those sculpts, and now Elena, who started, let's just say the true sculpt. I made a baby and that baby hit and sold out, and there's no more editions. And now China came out with them. What happens is they go over my head, they don't pay me, and they steal your sculpt and they sell them, and people that are buying dolls are innocent. People are innocent in the game buying a doll, not knowing about reborns, about artists, because people, to be honest with you, who gives a shit? Because I'm going to tell you something. It is very frustrating to think that your hard work is getting stolen. I understand that. But according to everything that I just investigated, there is nothing you can do about a stolen sculpt that's been stolen from you. So when someone steals your sculpt and it gets reproduced by another factory, that's something you have to understand that was out here in public. And once the public eye saw that in China and they wanted that copy because they now saw you sell out your sculpt, they also want to sell out. They also want a piece of the pie. So that's where you got to understand, people. You can't get upset. You can't get frustrated. You just got to deal with it and kind of move on from it, because I'm going to tell you something. Not everybody feels the same about, oh, if my baby don't have this, I don't want to collect. No, if I love the doll and I am in love with that sculpt, and that sculpt is something that I want to paint, my dolls, 90% of my dolls all have COAs. But I do have a couple of dolls that are knockoffs, because as a new artist, I wanted to see, and I don't think it matters where they came from, but I did want to do some comparison. I did want to do some, just to see if they were similar, and they're not. They're very different. So do I prefer to stick to my originals? Yes, I do. But if I find a sculpt that is a non-authentic sculpt and they no longer are producing that, I make sure I let people know. I don't scam, I don't lie, and I do that for myself. I don't sell knockoffs. I sell my originals, and I buy from Irresistibles and Dolls by Sandy. I have spent over $12,000 on goddamn sculpts in the past 3 years. So you tell me if I like originals. All my babies are original. I have a couple of knockoffs that I didn't really, and I don't get into that, because dolls are dolls, people. I don't care. They're all reproduced in China. They're all made in China. One factory reproduces them different than the other, and they come out different colors and different vinyl. That's the only difference in these dolls. Other than that, they are completely identical. I hope this video has helped you in some type of way. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because coming up, I have some new babies coming out, and those babies will be for sale, and I will be reopening my doors really, really soon. Another thing I want to mention is sometimes when the sculptor creates that original piece, she has to remember that even though they try to copy that, nobody can copy that originality from that person. And another thing is, you may feel robbed inside that you're getting your sculpt stolen, but there's really nothing you can do, because it takes one glance of a look at your doll that sold out last week, that sold 2,000 or 500 or whatever the number may be, and now China has that copy because you got it reproduced in China. You see what I'm saying? So you really can't get upset. if you're going to China to get your babies reproduced anyways, because China are going to stick up for each other. Just like the United States, they're going to stick up for each other. USA goes to China, and China does not respect USA territory. They're not going to respect our laws and our regulations. Do you think they care that they stole your work? They don't, because there's money in the making. They need to make money too. And if you're out here reproducing dolls, they are going to make theirs too. And I know it's frustrating and I know it's hurtful, but it's something that's happening and ongoing in the reborn community. So guess what? Me as an artist and a collector, I've decided I love them all. I have many, many more originals than I do copies, and that's the artist and the collector that I am going to stay and be. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment on my videos, and I will be returning soon. I am going through some things right now and straightening out some situations with personal reasons, and I will be back soon to update you and choose my winner for my free reborn winner giveaway. Thanks for watching. Peace out.